Just getting my cold therapy for the day in the mountains. Well, not the mountains, but just about as close as you could get. Still seeing them and not being fully in them. Oh, I'm shaking because it's cold. Oh, this is my cold therapy in the winter, coming in the mountains. Just so peaceful out here. I don't know, something about the mountain air, it's just different. Like I said, get my cold therapy in. I really don't feel like you have to do an ice bath. You can just get that cold mountain air. So pretty. Looks insane with the snow. Alright, I'm going to show you my coming back in the car from cold therapy. Let me put this. Okay. I was just like really shivering. You can probably see my rosy cheeks. So I'm going to come back in the car before I even like turn on the car. I just want to like try to regulate my breathing, like try to stop my shiver because my body's trying to make energy and I'm going to try to make energy with my breath. Moving my breath. And part of it is just like I'm out of the element, so obviously I'm going to feel warmer, but working with the heat, almost like using the heat and my breath to create energy instead of having to shiver for energy. Or to stay warm, I guess. Stretch your neck. If you want to do this little thing with me and get something like nice to stare at. Take a minute, look at something beautiful. If you need to like pull up Pinterest and get a pretty whatever background. I don't know, give energy, give attention to the beauty in whatever you're looking at. If you have glasses anywhere on your face, take them off. For me, it's always like, it helps me just feel bigger, like I can move better whenever I don't have the weight of the glasses. And do something to stretch your shoulders. I'm in a car, so I'm putting my elbows into the seat behind me. And then I'm gonna scoot my ass a little forward so that it feels, so I can put my hands on the back of my lower back, like lumbar spine. Oh God, that was too hard. And I found a spot I want to sink into for a minute, and we'll just do a second of 2 minutes of myofascial release. That's my myofascial teacher, Melissa Russell, says that is 2 to 5 minutes is what you want to aim for with myofascial release, because that's when the fascia, like your ligaments and tendons and your fascia, which is like the whole layer that keeps all your muscles intact, and like, muscles keep organs intact and bones keep bodies intact, and so on and so on, and the inception continues. But just stretch, and if it's like something else that's tight for you, stretch that. I'm at basically a research place that's in a really pretty spot, and I tried to step on like where the trail would be, and it was, my foot just went in like a foot into the snow. I was like, oh, never mind, I'm on like leggings, not my snow pants at all. So oh, someone's out here taking pics. Me too, bro. He's got a nice camera. Oh God, it feels good to stretch my neck. Then do something like open your arms into a T, or like, for me, I'm gonna reach back in my headset. Obviously, don't do this while you're actually driving. But my God, I'm gonna have to go look up what author this is, but he wrote Edible Plants, and he has a claimer in his book. He like talked about how kind of stupid and two-faced it is to like write a book about foraging and like identifying plants and then have a disclaimer that's like, we don't suggest you go and forage and use this information. And he's like, what the fuck are you making a book for then if you're gonna put that disclaimer? So he was just so genuine, and I think it's so badass. If you're interested in foraging or learning just more about plant ID, which I really like, edible wild plants. God, I wish I could remember his name. But yeah, just a little side note. I feel like that's so true with so many things. People just put a disclaimer on there because you have to, and it's like, just fucking he says, like, use your common sense, and like you're only a liability to yourself. Like, you are your own liability. We take no liability for whatever. So he still says that, but he's like, I'm not going to tell you not to go forage because I'm writing this book for you to go forage. Just was like so in integrity and just badass. I remember the first time I thought something like that was badass was I was reading Shark Lady when I was younger. Oh my god, I'm just like mind blown at this realization right now. Now I'm gonna put my elbows here and stretch my tricep right here. Yeah, it's been a minute. Take a breath. So I was reading Shark Lady, and Jeannie Clark, who wrote that book, it was like, reading that book is why I majored and graduated with a degree in biology from college and from Oklahoma State. Go Pokes. Reading that book and like reading her book was definitely something that got me here. Like, just thinking about how badass it was that she was in a position, she had to make budget cuts and she reduced her own pay. Her husband was a doctor, and so like their family was fine if her income was lessened, and I just still to this day think that's so cool. Like, so many companies, the norm is profit over people. Like, you're a slave and we'll treat you as such, but we're gonna call it a 9 to 5. And not that every 9 to 5 is slaving, because like I'm finding myself like wanting to get back into like kind of that routine, not like being overworked, but that's the thing too. Like, in my company, like, I want to change this idea that full-time is 40 hours a week and make it full-time is 20 hours a week. I want to... My baby's gonna wake up. I hear someone. Gotta be aware of my surroundings. Where's my knife? But this idea of the 40-hour work week, you just have to endure. And it's like, no, if literally, if we just changed it to where people had 20-hour work weeks, like, imagine how much more productive they would be. Like, what people are trying to get out of a 40-hour work week and 5 days a week, like, you could accomplish in like however someone wanted to break up that 20 hours, if it's like 2 10-hour days. And it's like, it isn't even about the hours. Like, we're trading hours for time, like, or hours for money. Like, no, it's like, you bring a package, you are a full package. My like doula package, like seeing family member go through birth, and then seeing also when I was at the hospital with my family for their birth, as I was going to like just take a minute to be out of the hospital setting, I ran into a mom who was clearly in like labor, and her husband's like, do you want to sit down? And she's like, nope. Nope. And I was like, I am doula in training, can I help you? She's like, please. And so I gave her like the counter pressure, which, if you don't know, you just like squeeze and kind of like shift up, so you're like helping the pelvis open, that like pelvic bone. I did that for her, and I was rubbing her back, and I was like telling her how amazing she's doing. And I honestly don't even remember what I said, but I act as a channel, and I know that whoever she needed with her that in that moment, that's in her life, like, I was the vessel of that. Oh god, Earl Grey with just like some honey. Oh, so good. It's another thing too, like, I've been trying to force myself to drink coffee, and I'm like, I'm just not a coffee girl. Like, I just wasn't raised in a house with coffee. My mom was born and raised in Pakistan, and I am a tea girl. Like, I like my tea, especially in the winter. I don't drink it as much in the summer just because it's hot and I don't want to be hot. I'm like taking cold baths. But yeah, I'm a tea girl. Like, I'm just not gonna force myself to like drink coffee because I think it'll be productive. And that brings me back to like the whole idea of detoxing. Like, it's not like detoxing because, oh, I'm so unhealthy and I'm trying to get skinny. And it's like, no, you just need a break from things sometimes. With cannabis, like, we have receptors all over our bodies. CB1 and CB2 are the only receptors that have been discovered, but I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch more. And that just means like a distinction between the receptors in the body and the receptors in the mind. It's so much more complicated than that. Like, there's no way that's all it is. But your channels, like, to be a clear channel, you have to like get all of your receptors. Yeah, you got to get your receptors like clear, and that's like a, oh god. A piece of ice just melted off my car. I'm not really scared. Oh, thank you if you made it this far. Thank you for listening. On what I was saying about my doula package, those experiences just made me be like, oh, I don't only want to work with people like in postpartum. I thought I only wanted to do postpartum, and after working with some births, I'm like, oh, I do want to do like birth, and I do want to do the pregnancy side of it. And that's like what Bloom from Your Womb is for me, to be able to do that without giving my energy to every single person, because it's very taxing. Like, I think I'm still in the process of like designing what my package even looks like what I would even charge. So taxing. Like, I loved it, but it was taxing, and you have to take a break, and there has to be like just parameters in place to protect yourself and protect your energy. Like, I protect my energy because I deserve that. You can look at that for a minute, that's pretty. But Bloom from Your Womb is able to help so many people in a way that I want to, but I cannot physically like give my energy like that to, like, I want to help hundreds and thousands of people with wombs give birth and not be fearful about it, and like be empowered in it, and not just like, oh, I just like don't want to. I don't know. Birth is scary. Like, pregnancy, especially like towards the end, can be really challenging. And like, you're carrying around a baby, and it's a miracle. It's also like your body is using so much energy to grow this human. Like, it's a big fucking deal. I almost like wish that we revered it more. Oh jeez, people fighting. Oh, it sucks. You guys are just trying to walk around. Can we talk about that for a second? Sorry, I just saw a guy and a lady fighting, and I was like, oh god. I just have come out of like I was talking earlier about this idea of push and pull, and it's like this push with my husband, and that's like how it's felt for like a couple weeks, and we're like coming out of it now, but it like really was just, I mean, fights are just tough. It's like it's not even like a fight, it's just like I have this perspective, you have this perspective, and we're like butting heads like this, and how can we like see something? In therapy, my therapist was like, you're seeing things as like me versus you, and not us versus the problem. And I was like, that's exactly it. Like, I was like, I'm not a team sport girl. Like, I never really enjoyed team sports. I like my solo sports. Like, I'm not used to being on a team. Like, yeah, that's hard. And to add on to it, like, I have a twin brother, and so growing up, it was very like, oh, he gets this and you get the same thing, and it was very tit for tat. And so that's how I grew up, and that was coming up in my marriage, and doozy to work through. So happy I'm on the other side of it now, but it was hard. It was like, it wasn't just like, oh, love and light and whatever. It's like, no, there's anger and frustration and hurt and resentment, and like, just, you can like see in my facial expressions, it's draining and it's hard. And like, really the only way we went through it was like, A, setting boundaries, like, B, whatever therapy you need. Like, for my husband, that is going on a hunting trip. He likes to fish and hunt and do mountain things, and so that was his therapy. My therapy was literal talk therapy. We both had to have our own therapy. I vented a lot. He probably, I'm sure, vented a lot. And then we were able to, honestly, space from each other was huge. Very huge. If you're in a fight with someone, highly, highly, highly recommend space. For me too, like, I can put a dagger in you with my words, and it's not fun to like realize, oh fuck, I like hurt someone and I feel really bad, and I wish I didn't say that. And so now I've like done this, I have this like new meditation almost, where if I'm pissed and I'm like feeling myself gonna say something mean and hurtful, I'm like, zip it the fuck up, like, doesn't need to be said. And I like literally visualize like zipping my mouth shut, and it really has helped a whole lot. And And then yeah, again, like the space thing, both of us needed space just from being parents, because that's very taxing. So if you are going on that journey, please put aside money, manifest money, whatever the fuck you gotta do. Ask for help from neighbors, like get a babysitter, get someone that you can trust to leave with your kids, and so that either you guys can have time where it's just you two, because it's hard to get that time after you have a new family member. Like obviously that's gonna be different and a challenge and something to get used to. It doesn't have to be a challenge, but it is something to get used to. And that leads me to end up like bloom from your womb stuff. Like I just see this course, like everything that I move through and that I see other people move through and I'm guiding other people through in my own real life. I'm like, God, I gotta make this content. Someone else needs this. Like I know this, whoever I'm helping and talking to, like is not the only person that needs this from me. But as I grow through stuff, I just want to add more to it. Like I really just want to add more. Ooh, maybe that's what I'll do with the Patreon videos. Like once a month. It's called 555. I am in postpartum doula training. I'm ready to like support one client. So if you're in Colorado, if you're preferably in Boulder, but I will go to Denver, or like surrounding areas, like if you're here, you know, surrounding areas, I'm gonna say it. I have space and availability and like energy for one person, and it would be 3 sessions during pregnancy, and I would like them to be like 50 minutes long, 50. Yeah, 3 55-minute sessions during your pregnancy. So you just reach a point of intensity where you're like, I need more support than what I have right now, and then you call me, because my goal is really to be there. Like I'm trying to be there at like the last stage of birth, really. So that's what I want to do, because the whole being there for the whole birth, like I was at my family members, is very taxing. I was at the hospital for like 20 something hours, 26, 27, I can't remember. It was a lot, and it took me like days. Like even I'm like still recovering. I feel like now 2 weeks later I've like turned a corner and I'm like fully recovering, but it was a lot on my health to hold that space. And so that's why I would only come at the end, because I want to be like fresh faced and good and ready. And it's like whoever your birth support person is, husband, mom, whatever, they're gonna be exhausted. Like yes, when I was pregnant and I was like, oh, you're tired after I gave birth. I'm real like snippy about it, being the support person for 26 hours. Like I get it. I get why it's so taxing, and you're there with them. You're not experiencing it, but you are talking them through, and you're there for them, and it's taxing. So that's a very long explanation of why I want to be at the end of the birth. Some are older people especially, but if you, I should just go fucking down there. I should just call them and tell them, hey, if you have anyone looking for a doula, let them know I'm here. Oh my God, that's such a good idea, Raquel. And then the first like 72 hours postpartum, so after I leave your birth, I will have a 24-hour period off. Let you get acquainted with your baby. I'm not going to text you. You're welcome to text me, but I am not going to reach out to you for 24 hours. And then after I've had my time to rest and recuperate and get back to my place, then the next 48 hours after that, I'm at your beck and call. I'm there for you, whatever you need. And I will also, we'll have talked throughout your whole pregnancy. I'll have been through birth, and at that point I can tap into what you need. So I'll be like, you seem like you might need a shower, like you might want to do something that you used to do before you had a baby and before you got pregnant or whatever. So I am like there again as a channel, and like I'm channeling your lineage. Birth is very, very, like your lineage is involved heavily in birth. This last birth I attended, it felt like thousands of people were in the room, and it was really fucking cool. I'm there like as a channel through, these, yes, I am magic, and yes, I acknowledge my gifts, but like it's not just me. It's things speak through me. Like I keep my vessel not like squeaky clean, but clean. But yeah, I'm just there. Like you want support, you need support. And for me, when you feel like you want that support in pregnancy, like that's when I want someone to reach out to me. And I would be willing to like fly to someone if you paid for my flight. Like that would be really the only thing, and it would be like the minute you go into labor, I book the next flight, and then, you know, and I go. Because that way, you know, with travel time and everything, like it might be towards the end. And I don't know, a travel thing might look a little bit different. And we could talk about that if you are in another state and you want to work with me like that. So yeah, just let me know, but preferably someone here so that I can like have my home. My like home is the place where I'm most grounded and like most can tap into me again. Like that's a really big part of this work, is being able to tap back into yourself. But yeah, that's a really big part of any kind of work where you're working with people and like intermingling energies. Like you gotta have space, and so that's like a big part of this too, and why kind of I like to structure it how I wanted to structure it. So if you're interested in that, hit me up. And I'm about to pull in to my house and feed my child and feed myself and drink water. Just take a breath real quick. Put your hand on your heart or anywhere on your body that feels good. Just know like I'm good, I'm here, I'm safe, I'm okay. I am safe, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. And that's what I'm gonna leave you with today. Thank you for listening and being here.